Salutations, this is Hitakiri Singh, and Rude Awakenings, everyone. This is going to be a bit of a banger of a video because in this clip, I think I might have stumbled onto a glitch or mechanic that might be meta changing, maybe breaking, if you will. Don't worry about slowing this down right now. We're going to do that several times over in the near future here. But before we start off into this conversation, I just want to explain I'm a very big damage enthusiast in all Monster Hunter games. I'm always looking to maximize my numbers on the screen, so much so that a few people have questioned the validity of some of the numbers I've shown in some of my videos. So I kind of want to show how to do all this stuff. And one of the biggest things is going to be a little skill dependent because you're going to have to proc certain skills like your Counter Strike and your Adrenaline Rush that we talked in previous videos. I'll link those in at the end as well. So that's going to be a big factor in reaching the same damage numbers, but also a handful of other things. And the thing we actually want to talk about in this video is not even a thing. It's not a build. It's a technique. But first thing I want you to notice is notice the top left of my screen, all the buffs that I have active. I have many buffs, but quite a few of them are offensive buffs. They're going to be your Mega Demon Drugs, your Demon Powder, and your Might Seed, maybe even a Might Pill. These are things that all of us serious hunters, we like to stack these things in every fight so we can have as much damage as humanly possible, prolong them with item prolonger so we have them going for as much time as possible. And of course your meal, you always want to eat, so your meal is adding damage and whatever buffs, including some of the skills in the meals that can also increase your damage as well. So always be looking out for those, or some of them just increase your status, things like that. So just as a background, I'm always looking to stack things in my build, my skills, my foods, my items to create the highest damage numbers. So every fight kind of has what happens here in the beginning. I'm looking for openings to do my ISS and Foresight, to charge up into Red Gauge and get my skills going as much as possible, because that's a big foundation of creating those huge damage buffs. I missed my Foresight, but I still proc Counter Strike. I was actually trying to get that late iframe to try to proc both. Before I went for this mount, I put on my Corrupted Mantle because I want that damage. And speedrunners are not going to like this because it's not the most efficient use of it, but it creates these high damage situations. These numbers, even on just my mount of my wound creations, I like seeing high damage numbers on those as well. And yeah, this is going to be 300, 500, 1430. That's what you're looking at. That's how I get these numbers. I'm making sure I have my buffs, I have my skills stacked, as many as I can before I do these things. My Corrupted Mantle, and also I'm against a monster with a high HP pool, and I'm multiplayer with my squad. I like to play multiplayer. Unlike a lot of streamers that only do solo, I really don't enjoy this game very much as I do when I play with the squad and play with groups of people. And you're going to have higher HP pools for the monsters, so some of your damage numbers are going to be increased by that nature too. Like if I was fighting a Conga Lala, it's not going to have such high pops as you see in some of these clips, and starting to see some of these R2 triangles. They're reaching 200 because I'm hitting a wound. I'm hitting a critical spot on the wound. A little later, I'll show some Helm Breakers and why that damage is so high, because of the spots that I'm aiming at. We always want to crit hit. That's what's happening here. That damage is high because I'm hitting it on a wound to get huge damage on him from the critical hits. And here we're just going to illustrate what I was just talking about the little bit of variation from damage numbers from the HP of the monster and whether you're multiplayer or not. This is a multiplayer Rathian, 98 on those Helmbreaker ticks, nice knockdown. This Blanganga is another low HP monster, but something similar. I'm hitting a wound here for 102 on those Helmbreaker ticks. And then, of course, here with Big Floppa, higher HP, hitting a wound on the fin, not even the head, and 117.5 and up. So the HP of the monster does determine some things. And this is what the video is really about. When a longsword pops multiple wounds, it's really interesting things are happening. First of all, any weapon that can do this is going to get multiple damage pops. That was a 930 you just saw. We're going to slow down the last 4 clips, so don't worry about that. But I noticed during the Arkveld glitch that there was something happening with multiple wound pops. There was one unbreakable wound, 3 of my teammates, and I was seeing 6 to 8 notifications of wound pops on the screen, and we were kind of dismissing it as a glitch, and this could be a glitch or something intended, and I hope if it is a glitch that this mechanic we're about to discuss stays, because it's absolutely amazing in this situation right here. We're going to break this all down in a second. Look at those damage pops. So what's happening here? First of all, what's happening is there's inputs of damage for when somebody is doing a focus strike and other people are hitting wounds in multiple different ways, whether it's a focus strike or another attack. So Biggie did her focus strike. I got a huge explosion of damage. So let's break this down for all situations. This is a normal focus strike where I hit 2 damage ticks and a third for my poke. And then you have an animation where you can strike as many wounds as possible. You want to use the ones that have the longest animation, like your side swipe, left or right, or the backwards one. And then this is a couple of physical damage pops of 176. And then afterwards you have what I call the pop damage. You have all 3 wounds that pop, and then a couple of other damage ticks. And yes, that's like 3-ish hundred, 5-ish hundred, 9-ish hundred. It gets that high, especially with all your food and everything else stacked, your pills, your mantle. Now let's see what happens when it's a multiple focus strikes for many players. Zoe actually hit it first, and I hit it follow-up. So did Raven. I got my physical strikes from my focus strike, but not the pop damage. Zoe did. He confirmed it, sent me a video, and his was quite significant, even though it was just one wound. So the focus strike, if your teammates do it, only a certain part of that damage counts, and it's kind of low. So we're going to call these low damage situations. It doesn't matter if it's a red wound, blue wound. These are mechanics that are seeming to be working. So I hit from my focus strike. Soul, I'm not sure if he's doing a focus strike or just a singular attack on one of the wounds that is producing some tick damage with the Savage Axe. But let's just call this low damage situation. And notice what's happening here. Once I get my 3 wound pops, I'm getting more ticks and higher damage, including an 1144 on top of everything else that's already there, plus some extra physical pops that are going on. So there's a multiplying effect happening from the damage input that's being put into those wounds during my animation, and this is the big boy. This is the one that blew my mind. My boy Solar is going up there for a Helmbreaker. I'm doing my poke for my focus strike. He comes down. His Helmbreaker hits the blue wound for full damage, and then I verified this from a picture from him. His Spirit Release is now going to hit tick damage from 78 to 116 all across those 3 wounds, and several of them crit hitting like crazy. And look what happens to my damage pops. Now there's that 1144 in addition, an 1189, several 200s that are popping up. Like, where are these wound pops coming from? There's only 3 visible wounds, you know what I mean? There's a multiplying effect that's happening with damage inputs from your team, your squad, during this is amazing. Watch this one more time in slow motion. The timing coincides with each other. This can be scripted. He goes up for the Helmbreaker after the poke. Then I go for my focus strike. And then I go for my animation to get the wounds. And once that animation happens, those wounds are mine. So all the damage he's doing can be free damage without having to worry about popping those wounds. This is amazing. This can be scripted. The speedrunning community really needs to see this, because this could also be meta damage for time. This isn't so important right now because the monsters are kind of low HP. They don't really have much difficulty, but the Tempereds will come out. The DLC will come out. There'll be huge challenges coming, Fatalis-like monsters coming out. And when we have those health pools, imagine for you script writers, what if that's 3 longsworders going up for the Helmbreaker and Spirit Release to hit all those wounds? What if I am decked out, not in my normal build, but for Flayer and Part Breaker and damage skills that increase wound pops as much as humanly possible? Play with this. I'm not the quite guy to bring you the show that this could possibly be, the amazing spectacle that this could possibly be. That's one of the problems in Monster Hunter right now. The longsword speedruns aren't very interesting, and we all know why. The Helmbreaker is just not optimal for damage, you know? But this situation might change everything. How could you speedrunners benefit from this? And even if it's not about time, what kind of show with damage numbers could you put on for the community? I put this in your hands, Monster Hunter community. Please, runners, do what you will and give us Give us what we really want in these games, those amazing, spectacular runs. Please join us in the link in our description, or in the description is a link to our Discord, Zero Faints. We love this game. We're passionate. We're wonderful at this game. We have newcomers to bona fide world record holders and literally everyone in between. And we're not sweaty. We're silly AF. If you can tell by this clip, you'll know. We're silly. So come join us. If you love this game, all you got to do is be a true gamer and respect your fellow hunter, and we'll get along just fine. Come join us again. Thanks for joining me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. See ya. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Yada yada yada. Intro, intro, intro. Funny joke. Laugh, laugh, laugh. We are talking about things. Look at the things on the screen happening, and this is what the video is going to be about. Stuffity stuff, stuffity stuff, blah blah. Is the washing machine hearable through all this? Let's find out now.